Hello and welcome back to India from Darjeeling. I have made my way up here to the definitive hill station, which dates back all the way to 1837. We're above 2,000 meters in altitude. Here I made my way from Kolkata by train and then a shared taxi. I'll tell you a little bit more about it as I walk around and explore Darjeeling today. This is where I'm staying. Udaan Dekeling Resort at the top of the hill, a British heritage property. So before I head out into the town of Darjeeling and show you the vibe and get exploring, I will give you a tour of my room, as it's pretty interesting. I've been given the British suite here. You can see here it says 1870. You probably can't find something closer to the feeling of the British era here in Darjeeling than my suite, which is named the British Suite. Beautiful decor here dating back to 1850. Portrait on the wall and an old fireplace. I love the rifle at the top here. Into the bedroom, and it's all wood, shining. And another fireplace and portrait of a woman who I'm guessing stayed here on a retreat to the hill station, probably the wife of someone from Kolkata. And this is an original, the desk and mirror here, as well as a modern bathroom and modern shower. And so you can feel like a member of the aristocracy in the 19th century here, but with some modern trimmings like a TV and fridge, as well as, of course, the complimentary Darjeeling tea. And the view out the room here at the top of the hill above the town of Darjeeling. So I will leave the link for Udaan Dekeling in the video description if you're interested in staying here. They also have other properties in the area and India, another one here in Darjeeling, as well as one in Sikkim. This is the old library perched above the town like the rest of the hotel. And I will come back here a little bit later, but for now I'm going to head out and start exploring, making my way down the hill into the town. This is the vegetarian restaurant called Grains. They have breakfast, lunch and dinner buffets, cafe up there, and also a spa. Let's make our way down now. The temperature, as you could see, I was wearing a jacket, is much cooler up here in the hills. According to my phone, it's 18 degrees at the moment, cloudy with a bit of sun, and at night time it drops down to 11 degrees. A world away from 35 degrees and the humidity of Kolkata. So, as I walk down, let me tell you how I got here. From Kolkata, I took a train, a second-class sleeper to New Jalapahar, which is just before the hills where they start. It was an overnight train. It left at 10:05 and arrived in the morning around 8:30, I believe. Then after reaching New Jalapahar in the morning, I took a shared taxi up here to Darjeeling. The journey is around 3 to 4 hours depending on traffic, and you make your way up the hills The views get better and better as you go. I booked 2 seats at the front, one for me, one for my bag, as they tend to stuff quite a lot of people in those shared taxis. So 800 for 2 seats. I believe it's 400 for 1 seat if they charge me the correct price. You'll notice here that the people look different compared to Kolkata. The people here are a fascinating mix of Nepalese, as we're very close to Nepal, and then many Tibetans, and that's because when China invaded Tibet in the 50s, then many people fled here to the north of India. Then you have Sikkimese, which was a kingdom of its own for many centuries. And then you have the Rongpa people, the Gorkhas, and the Lepchas, who are the people of the hills, along with Bengalis from the lowlands of India, who are often visiting here as tourists, or perhaps established work or some kind of business here. And then you mix that all together over the centuries, the intermarrying of different ethnicities and populations, and today you have a very diverse local population here in Darjeeling of all different appearances, which is quite startling after coming from Kolkata, which is just full of Bengalis, really. Of course, there's different Chinese communities and others in the big cities of India and different religions. But here in Darjeeling, once you get in the hills, it kind of feels a bit like you stepped into Nepal. I know that I'm reaching the center of the town, and why? Because there is the Darjeeling Clock Tower, one of the landmark sites of Darjeeling. Kevs or Kaventas is one of the most, or if not the most famous breakfast place in town if you want to try a traditional English breakfast, although you may have to come early to avoid queues. Apologies for the sound of the construction. Here we have Tenzing Norg, who was the first man to summit Mount Everest along with Sir Edmund Hillary in 1953. Tenzing Norg lived here in Darjeeling, although he was originally born in Tibet. Darjeeling, world's nicest place. Well, that's quite a statement. This seems to be one of the main thoroughfares of the town. We've got different gift shops, places to buy Darjeeling tea. So I mentioned Darjeeling tea there, which is synonymous with this place, and I will definitely be trying some a little bit later in this video, and also tomorrow morning visiting a tea plantation. This architecture also taking me back home a little bit. What is interesting is that I don't see many Western tourists or even Koreans, Japanese, Southeast Asians. It's mostly Indian tourists. But I think in general, since the pandemic, the number of Western tourists in India has dropped a little bit. I'm sure it will come back a lot stronger soon. History everywhere you look. Since 1890, this shop and a bookstore here. Pretty well stocked, as are many good bookshops in India, which I love. Passing through a new market here, and the views from the side of the hill, quite foggy at the moment. It's much clearer in the early mornings at sunrise or when it's just been raining. That building there is Udaan's other property, the hotel chain I'm staying at, another heritage building. I'm going to make my way up Observatory Hill, and there's a temple or some shrines at the top. Okay, so shoes off and some blessings before entering the temple here. A small donation, and I have a bindi. This temple is dedicated to Mahakala, who is a Hindu and Buddhist protector deity. He is the god of time, creation, destruction, and power. This temple is colorful and atmospheric, I have to say. I really like it. If you want to pick up some Darjeeling tea here in the town, then this, I've been told, is one of the best places to buy some. Since 1931 they've been selling it here. So I'm now making my way further down the town to the bottom where the old railway station is. Hole in the wall, barbers and food places. Market stalls. Even fish. So this is the Darjeeling railway station, home of the Darjeeling Himalayan Railway, established in 1881 and is now a UNESCO World Heritage listed railway. And this is the old train station here. So you can take the railway from Siliguri, New Jalapahar, where I arrived from Kolkata on my train, but to go from there to Darjeeling on the train takes 7 hours, and it is not a normal train, it is the old-fashioned diesel or steam train, depending on which one you catch. It takes 7 hours to go from Siliguri to Darjeeling, and often it doesn't run on time, and there are no toilets on board either. So it's better to take a shared taxi, and then from here, as a quick trip, you can go 2 hours, 1 hour there, 1 hour back to a place called Goom, which is one of the highest railway stations in India. What the carriages look like today, they no longer have the old-fashioned carriages for tourists. This is one of the older carriages, I believe, what it used to look like, if you can see inside there. So when I found out about the fact that they use these newer carriages, I wasn't as interested in doing the 1 hour trip there and back to sit on something that isn't even old anymore. The only old part is the actual front of the train. We're going to walk over here and take a look. So if you do want to ride the train, you can take a joyride, is what they call it, from here to Goom and back as a short day trip. The cost is 1,500 rupees if you go in the afternoon, and 1,000 rupees if you take an early morning train. It's slightly cheaper. Just cross the road here. This is the loco shed. My grandpa, who loved trains, would be very excited at seeing this, I'm sure. You can feel the nostalgia and the history with the steam coming out. Amazing that the British built this railway in 1880, the late 19th century, in such difficult circumstances, considering that it's 2,000 meters in altitude here, winding, and they managed to build it to connect to the hill station of Darjeeling. It's an amazing feat, and the fact that you can still ride the same railway today is pretty cool. So I'm now back here in the room here at Udaan, Dekeling. I have the fire going here, creating some lovely warmth. I just had my dinner in the restaurant. They have a really good buffet. It's vegetarian, but lots of good different Indian dishes. And now I'm having my Darjeeling tea in the room here with the cozy fire, and tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up early for sunrise to try and catch Kanchenjunga. I hope to see it along with the views of the Himalayas. It's been quite foggy, it gets quite cloudy in the day, but in the morning hopefully it will be clear. And then later on I will be going to a tea plantation for the famous Darjeeling. So I'm now gonna chill here in the British suite, read a little bit. I've got Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie, one of the most famous books written in or set in India in the 20th century. It won the best Booker of all the Booker winners, and it's often in the list of the top 100 books of all time. So working my way through this, sipping some Darjeeling tea, and I will catch you in the morning. Good morning. So it is now 5 o'clock, and unfortunately it is very cloudy at the moment here from the cafe at the resort. The view should be here of the Himalayas. There's still hope. If the sun rises a lot higher in the next hour or so, it might clear a lot of the morning fog clouds. So a bit of patience and we may yet see the view. Let me show you exactly what it's supposed to look like here. There's a picture on the wall inside the hotel. Here we are. This one, it's a little bit dark. That is Kanchenjunga, the world's third tallest mountain. So it's a bit later in the morning now, and guess what? Still very cloudy. Unfortunately, it did not let up. I slept for a bit longer, checking every half an hour or so to see if it would clear up, and it didn't. And so I just had my breakfast there in the restaurant, and now I'm going to take a taxi from here all the way over to Happy Valley Tea Estate. An update. Things are never always simple. I have had to walk all the way here. I'm nearly there. Happy Valley Tea Estate is just at the bottom here. I have to continue walking down. I've been going for about 40 minutes downhill all the way through the town. The original plan was to take a taxi here and back because I'm supposed to check out today. But it turns out that most of the roads are closed because there's a political rally, and so as I've been walking, I've seen army and police, many checkpoints along the roads. And so in the end, I've had to make my way down here on foot, and I don't know if I'll be able to find a taxi back about halfway or something. But I'm also supposed to check out today and make my way back down to Siliguri because tomorrow I have a flight to Mumbai. Very steep here. You can imagine that during the rainy season it would be much more picturesque because all the plants would be bright and green. At the moment they're a little brown. Here we are. Since 1854 this tea estate has existed. So I've just been inside there for a quick 15-minute tour. You're not allowed to take videos inside of the factory equipment where they do different oxidizing and drying and different processes in order to make the tea. It costs 100 rupees to do the short tour and to have a little taste of 5 different types of tea. Now, Darjeeling tea is known as one of the best quality teas in the world. This estate, by the way, is one of the oldest of more than 80 plantations here in Darjeeling. The first flush, which is the tea that is plucked in the early spring, is considered the best quality. That's what first flush means. The first flush is a very subtle flavor of black tea. It's light, it's got like a muscatel type of flavor. The second flush is a much darker, more amber looking hue. Now, the tea that you see in India, which is drunk by most people, chai, which is mixed with milk and sugar and different spices, that is from the Assam region. Darjeeling tea is exported more than it is drank actually in India. It goes to places like the UK and Western Europe. It's considered sacrilege to add sugar to Darjeeling, although a wedge of lime is okay. Milk is also a controversial one. It's better to drink Darjeeling on its own and appreciate its flavors. So anyway, I recommend coming to a tea plantation here in Darjeeling, whether it's this one or another a bit further away. So I'm now back here at Udaan Dekeling Resort once more, and I've now checked out of the room, and here I am sipping on some first flush Darjeeling tea with the view behind me here. Perfect way to end this video. As I said, I'm heading to the airport tomorrow, which is near the city of Siliguri. I'm flying to Mumbai. So once again, the link for Udaan Dekeling is in the video description. And I loved my stay here in Darjeeling. I hope to come back to this part of India in the future and go further north to Sikkim, perhaps go to Nepal, and also go to northeast India too in the future. So that's all from this video, and I will see you in Mumbai. Peace.